ready to reveal number 2?
Absolutely.
All right, on to number 2 on Peter's list, and that is the Darrell Brooks trial. And for those unfamiliar with the Darrell Brooks trial, well, there's a lot of moments in that one that I'm sure could stick out in your brain. But this is the Christmas parade attack. Darrell Brooks, of course, convicted of driving his vehicle into a Christmas parade, killing people, again, with what appeared to be just zero regard for human life, all these opportunities to stop, and he didn't. Peter, why is this number 2 on your list? This one was, I'm just going to say it, it's not a news term or a legal term. This one was bonkers.
It was wild. It was absolutely wild. One of the most insane trials we've seen from a courtroom experience. And I think a lot of lessons to be learned and questions that were answered throughout this trial, like how a pro se defendant should act, what kind of clothes can they wear, are they chained to the table, how a sovereign citizen acts, whether or not certain arguments, even though they may sound like they're legitimate arguments like subject matter jurisdiction, are not, and how that works, and who the plaintiff is in a criminal case. And to me, we learned so much, and people that didn't understand how that process worked now understand it so much better. And they saw, is this going to work on the jury? A lot of them were asking, is this going to work? He keeps planting these seeds of doubt. Is one of the jurors, are they going to look at this and say, well, maybe there isn't subject matter jurisdiction? And the answer to that was emphatically no. They gave him everything they possibly could give him. And then this one also highlighted a judge, and a judge came out looking like a superhero. Now she may be on the Supreme Court of this state, and people understood what patience looks like, what impartiality looks like. Some people thought the judge was too partial towards Darrell Brooks, and then she handed down, the multiple life sentences. We learned about offers being made before trial, and we learned about what a pro se defendant can do to complain about their criminal defense lawyers. We're also learning about what it's like. Can they get an attorney for the appeals process? There were so many questions that people learned through this process, and it did captivate a huge audience because it was more wild than TV. I mean, you can't write this stuff. When they say that, they're talking about a trial like Darrell Brooks. Every day, there was an explosion of activity that we had to break down and react to and discuss and answer questions about.
Representing himself, outbursts left and right, bizarre behavior.
Not consenting to being called his own name.
Right. I mean, just absolutely. Can't help but feel, sometimes I watch this, and I watch some of your live streams. I remember watching some of this unfold and thinking to myself, 50 years from now, are people going to look back and ask, how was this allowed to happen? Look, a courtroom is a very professional place where conduct, your conduct and your behavior, you're expected to hold yourself to a standard. The standard was not anywhere near being reached here. So this trial was just absolutely a circus. Let's go to some of the comments. Let's bring in our wide shop in the Stream Center to bring in a couple of comments. Nee says, hashtags for both. Love you both. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. We got a couple other comments that I wanted to bring in because it talked about your specific analysis of the case, and the comments are coming in so fast.
I hear you.
I think I lost them.
While you look for it, if you want to, what was cool about what you just said is the conduct in the courtroom, the technology we have today that's so different from some of the cases that the judge was citing. He wasn't gagged and bound and mouth taped shut or tied to the table. They just booted him to another courtroom, and because of technology, he could hear, he could see, he could do everything he wanted to in that courtroom to preserve his rights, but not obstruct the trial or stop the trial or delay, which is clearly what he was trying to do. So that's all of this stuff again, and that's why this trial was significant. We learn, we grow. This is going to be precedent to how other judges do it in the future, even more so than the cases that this judge cited. So that was cool to see happen in real time.
Dina, one of our terrific YouTube moderators. Thank you to all of our moderators for participating in today's stream. This trial highlighted an absolutely stellar judge. There was so much to learn by watching this trial. Do you agree with Dina's assessment that the judge did a good job?
Absolutely, and I think that you didn't just learn what a great judge is like, but how to be a patient person and how to not let your position make you think that you can do whatever you want or step on people's rights. I think there's a lot of lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers that can learn a lot from Judge Doro, because regardless of what she thought about Darrell Brooks, She made sure every one of his rights were preserved, that he got a fair trial. If he wanted to, scream and use the rope to hurt himself basically in front of the jury, she tried to stop it. She tried to send him away. He continued to do it, but she acted how a judge should act in this situation. And I said on multiple occasions, more patient than I could ever be if I was a judge.
Yeah, it was certainly a masterclass in how you manage a courtroom and what a courtroom should look like when you have somebody that is not behaving to the conduct that we talked about earlier. And Debbie giving a very kind comment your way, Peter, truly giving us great explanations on the Brooks trial. Again, live here, everybody in the Stream Center with the lawyer, Peter Tragos, right here in the Tampa Bay area, friend of mine, and also to great legal analyst as far as bringing his expertise to his YouTube followers, and today onto our YouTube channel. So again, Peter, it's great to have you as we get closer to revealing number one. How are we doing so far?
This is fun. I mean, it's a little bit of a different experience, because usually I'm used to hundreds of people asking different questions and firing these quick questions. So be able to dig in a little bit more.
Yeah, you get the day off from the comment section.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just one person asking the questions is nice.
All you got to do is focus on the analysis.
It is. It's cool. And I think that, being able to interact with people is what makes this so cool and what makes everybody understand the process more, because you or I can talk about what we think is important and what we think is cool or we think is impactful, but they actually tell us what's impacting them. They actually tell us what they want to hear. They tell us what they're interested in. And they create the significance of the case a lot of times. The people watching, the people that live in these jurisdictions. So many people from Waukesha were in on my streams talking about that case. So many people that are in the Sarasota area talking about the Gabby Petito case in South Florida for Parkland. In all of these cases, people from these communities come. They want to understand the process. How's it going to affect their community? Looking at the judges and the district attorneys and the lawyers in their community, it makes a big difference. And it's really cool to be a part of. And I always talk about how, specifically on my channel, you get some uplifting stuff once in a while.
Sure.
It's pretty much all bad, what we're talking about on our channel.
Right.
I mean, the content is usually negative, people having problems. I say people don't call me to tell me something good. They call me when there's a problem. And a lot of people have from YouTube, which is cool, when they have a problem and I can maybe help them with it. But talking about those situations with the comments and the community of people talking and asking these questions can make it enjoyable, because we're learning, we're getting better, we're growing as a society together in different communities.
Couldn't agree more. And that's why I talk on the stream quite a bit about interactive journalism and how I believe it's the future, because we can have these conversations. And with the state of our country right now, it's important to have those conversations. I'm glad that you do it from a legal perspective. I'll continue to do it from a journalist perspective, and really appreciate everybody who follows both of us, follows Peter, myself. It's really great to be able to collaborate in this way and bring you in here today.
And you can't really get the full picture with just one, right? I mean, that's why I don't, when we talked about the Idaho case or the Delphi, like I can't really dive into those. I don't add anything to that. That's what they have people like you to figure out what's going on, to talk to people, to get information, to bring it to the people in a way that helps them move forward in what they're trying to figure out. And I think that's what makes it really cool, is that to have that explanation with the cases then allows them to go listen to a lawyer or a detective or whoever they want to hear that aspect from, and they'll have the information coming from someone like you first to build on. I think that's what makes it cool about YouTube and this kind of interaction.
Lawyers get a bad rep, but Peter's all right. We'll keep Peter around. We'll keep him in the Rolodex, so to speak. And it's awesome to have Peter Tragos, again, personal injury attorney right here in the Tampa Bay area, the lawyer joining us on stream. We are